Please remember to leave a like, a comment, share the video about, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you. Well, isn't this just fantastic? Today is a rather unique day for us on this channel. It's unique because I'm going to be defending, as you may have noticed in the title, Sssniperwolf. I never thought I would be defending that thought. Is she a thought? That hack. I never thought I'd be defending somebody whose husband basically helped build their channel. Someone who has harassed, stalked, abused other people, but not done much in the way of striking. This seems to be a fantastic way of segueing, but keeping onto a topic at least, a theme for the week. Where yesterday we discussed the Manny Show in a video that has tanked because I arrived at it 1 week late. My mistake. Manny Show being someone that stole other people's content, put his own shit over the top, and then struck anyone that had the audacity to highlight how stupid he is. In this, we have a completely different problem. The problem being that an accusation of being a flagger comes from one person, but may not be what it appears to be on the surface. So we're going to go through some tweets, right? Leah, or Sssniperwolf. I want to clarify that I did not strike anyone's video. I do not have any pending takedown notices. I believe someone else must have done it on my behalf, at MoistCritical. This is because of an accusation from one giant onion, who had tweeted, "Here is the copyright strike I received from either Sssniperwolf or someone impersonating her. But how can you say it is irresponsible to post a video without reaching out to you first about it? You would have never responded in a lifetime. I hope this wasn't you though." Included is a copyright strike that expires in 80 days on watching Sssniperwolf until I laugh. It's 3 hours, 2 minutes, 24 seconds, and the content is found during the first 10 minutes. Now there is a problem with this kind of content. No offense to you, one giant onion, but you've been pointed out as somebody that does just sit there in silence and watch people's content for lengthy periods of time. Nick Diorio actually highlighted it when you sat for 5 minutes and you said virtually nothing, while Impulsive Podcast was talking on the couches. I'm going to be that person that highlights this issue. You can't do that. That does not fall within fair use. And these are two separate problems then. One is whether or not Sssniperwolf copyright claimed or struck you at all, and you basically doing the reaction channel crap where you offer nothing. I know nothing of you as a creator, so I don't know if this is something you do on a more regular basis. But if it is something you do, then you deserve to be struck. The rules of fair use are quite clear on this. At most you get 30 seconds. Realistically, you get 30 seconds. Unless you're playing something that is music, you get 0, because that's how that works. Same with movies actually as well. And Nintendo. They're a bit funny on this stuff too these days. I say these days, since time began. I watched that impulsive clip that Nick Diorio tweeted out, titled "Watching Logan Paul Until I'm Entertained." You said nothing. This is nuts. You can't do that. And then cry foul when someone claims you for what can only be considered to be content theft. You and Manny might have something in common here. Now I said there are two separate problems. That's one. The other is whether or not Sssniperwolf actually made the copyright claim. As you saw from the first tweet, Sssniperwolf has publicly denied this. She also posted though, and this is quite interesting, she posted her DMCA history. Now DMCA history is like youtube.com/report history. I remember that because it's what did Monday Matt in when he was discovered to have flagged all the channels that he claimed he wasn't flagging. And just in case you're curious what that page looks like, this is my one. As you can see, nothing to see here. I really don't flag or report anyone. I don't do it. This is Sssniperwolf's. Wolves, yes. Now there is quite a bit here, but the last video removed was on the 14th of January 2023. Now this is a different section of YouTube as well. This is where Content ID features in. And I figured I'd quickly show you mine as well because this is mine. You'll notice there is a channel there called Vernal Erin. I have no idea who they are, but they have copies of my videos uploaded in 2017. I have never even bothered to claim that. There is also no removal requests. I'm a bit squeaky clean. I'm a good stealth YouTuber like that. Now, back to this. Charlie, aka MoistCritical, had retweeted Sssniperwolf by saying, "If that's true, you should contact the striked channel and get the info of the person who did strike it so you can take legal action against them. There's a huge problem with this on the platform right now, so it'd be great to put a stop to it. Now this is a strange one too, because he's essentially telling her to be more proactive to protect her image, but that's not really in this instance on her. If someone has done this in her name, she has no real control over that. So it can be argued this take from Moist Critical is a bit of a strange one. As it turns out, a number of channels went on to smear, basically, Sssniperwolf as a copyright claimer, abuser, as it were. This would include Asmongold, Dumpy, People Awesome, is that what that says? Pancho, West Jets, and Sensitive Society, right? These titles are intentionally done to try and, drum up that viewership, and they all did pretty well, to be honest. Asmongold especially. Something though that needs highlighting is where all these videos came from. It came from a reaction, with no evidence to support it. Last week, we covered as it unfolded the story concerning Dr. Disrespect, and until he himself admitted fault, he had to be presumed innocent. People have to afford the same courtesy to Sssniperwolf as well, because evidence is needed before you react, and I know comparing the two is wrong, it's a false equivalence. Be less pedantic, because it really doesn't help, and it's also a massive distraction. There is a similarity in people pouncing before seeing evidence, alright? And that is key. All of these channels reacted without even considering the evidence first, because there wasn't any at the time. They instead pounced on it because, as you saw from a few of their channels, it got them good views. Something which, as a creator, I fully understand. Hell, if I could get the views Asmongold gets without having to compromise on who I am, then we'd be fantastic. Honestly, I probably only make one video a month, because this is exhausting half the time. Now in this instance, one creator, Moist Critical, did put out a correction video saying Sssniperwolf did not strike a channel. This is important. Coming up with the correct story or offering correction where it is required. If you're going to smear Sssniperwolf, you could for many other things. Flagging this particular creator, One Giant Onion, is not on the list. So on Twitter, Sssniperwolf said, "Hey, I'm pretty active on Instagram, it's not hard to reach me. That is not me or my claim. Have you tried emailing them?" One Giant Onion did reply, "I'm working to find out more information about the claimant. It was my mistake not reaching out to you. I thought in a context like this, it would have been best to post my video as soon as possible. I was also very certain it was you since the names match up. Again, my apologies." In the original video posted 9 days ago, One Giant Onion redacted that video was claimed, and who claimed it despite calling out Sssniperwolf in the video. Now that's important, because let's face it here, when it comes to these kind of claims, I would make it a point to show everything regardless of who claims it is. I would just leave the name there. I've had copyright claims in the past where it's come from people claiming to represent music labels. They don't. They just do it to cause problems, to obtain private and personal information. I'm going to stand by what I said when it comes to watching people's content and offering no commentary for large gaps of time. But as someone has pointed out, why did you censor the name of the entity that removed your content and struck you? I wouldn't put it past Sssniperwolf to strike a channel, but you censoring that information in the provided screenshot is sus. I understand not wanting to, let's say, dox or risk that, but if it comes from a channel directly, and since Sssniperwolf's full name is known, it would be redundant to erase that name, right? So when I earlier stated this entire debacle has two subjects to it, it does. One is the nature of the content produced by One Giant Onion and the claim apparently made by Sssniperwolf. An update has been provided by One Giant Onion that says, "This plot twist is insane. I still have no clue if it was her or someone else. Very wild situation. It seems unlikely it was her based on the fact she has posted her report history. But let's face it here, if you are watching people's content and offering nothing new to it, she could copyright claim you with a level of validity. And so to an extent, yes, I am defending Sssniperwolf because of fair use, and also because you haven't proven it was her. Additionally, your commentary at the end there, when you replied to Sssniperwolf on Twitter, it came across as, when you said you wanted to post the video as soon as possible, it came across as opportunism, as opposed to acting in good faith with a level of decency and integrity. I know we commentators are opportunists, but that is not often the case for vast numbers of people who actually waited to find out. And in this, we don't even have an answer. Now, there is one other problem we need to highlight. This is not concerning Sssniperwolf or the Onion person. It is the misuse of the copyright system, the tools available, which has become a more prevalent theme of late. Whether you be the creator, a fan, a supporter, a hater, this system exists to protect the creators and ensure that they are not being taken advantage of. This all sounds very simple, doesn't it? Except we now know there are creators who believe themselves above this and just act willfully, ignorantly. We also know there are exceptions to this. I mentioned the music industry and the movie industry and certain game companies. Yes, that's a thing as well, because YouTube, while having these rules, do not apply them correctly or fairly to all parties. They are beholden to a number of people and companies that have control over them, essentially. In the context of creators taking advantage of these tools, it is done and usually comes from a place of arrogance, to believe that by simply doing this, you are free of all consequence. Again, these tools are to protect. It's why YouTube have made a concerted effort of late to try and introduce ones where you can remove music without compromising any voice, like from us, to help us so we don't have to re-upload the entire video, something which I think has great potential. The copyright system for years has always been misused by people. Always. Not something I can support or endorse. Again, I'm not going to do it. If you don't have those kind of values where you can accept criticism will come your way, or accept people are going to react or respond to you, for whatever reason they choose to, as long as they abide fair use anyway, then you are showing your own weaknesses. Those weaknesses will not help you as a career YouTube content creator try and maintain or sustain what you have. It will only end one way for you, and if you are somebody doing it to spite other creators to create drama, you're just a shit human being. Simple as that. Flaggers are the lowest of the low when it comes to content creation. Pure and simple, quite frankly.